Currently sitting at 130 in the world, our guest today started the year by taking a set off Yannik Sinner in the second round of his home slam, the Australian Open. He backed up this performance by winning his second challenger title in Brisbane a couple weeks later. Knocking on the door of the top 100, Tristan Schoolkate, welcome to the changeover.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Changeover podcast. We have a fun episode for you in store today, but before we get into it, just wanted to say we've seen some of the comments recently from you guys saying, how much we've improved and how we've become one of your favorite tennis podcasts. So just wanted to say thank you. We've been working really hard and we're motivated to keep putting out a lot of episodes with cool guests, but the best way that you guys can support us, if you can please share a podcast with a friend, with someone that you think would enjoy the podcast, help us to grow. Like I said, we're really excited and motivated to keep doing what we're doing. So, with that being said, let's get into the episode.
All right, Tristan, thanks for joining us, and congrats on a pretty strong start to your year, winning around Australian Open, then playing Yannik Sinner, and then going on to win the Brisbane Challenger. You've also been one of the, first higher-ranked players to kind of show our channel some love with some comments and following early. So, thanks for joining us today on your, day off before the tournament starts over there in Punta Cana.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So, full disclosure, we've been trying to start this episode now for the last hour. We've got fire alarms here. Tristan's screen is green, so we can't even see his face. So if there's a little bit of a strange back and forth, you know why. We can't really communicate with any body language. So we'll see how this episode goes. Let's start with the Australian Open. So it would have been your second Grand Slam main draw, and your second Grand Slam win, actually, over the same player, Taro Daniel. He was a victim to you twice.
You have to stop doing that.
Did it help playing the same guy before?
No, it was pretty wild. I don't know. The chance is obviously so low. But I guess having the win in the US Open under the belt helped for sure. I think if it's not from a playing perspective, at least a mental perspective. We organised to practice. I thought there's no chance we could play each other, so I asked him to hit on the Saturday or Sunday before the tournament. Sure enough, the draw came out and I saw we were playing each other. I couldn't believe it and laughed to my coach. And I guess we ended up not practicing and shared the court a couple of days later.
So you cancelled the practice?
Yeah, we both sort of agreed it was better to hit with someone else, and we'll save the hitting for on the match court.
How did the matches compare? So obviously in the US Open, it was your first Grand Slam main draw, so I imagine there might have been more nerves, but at the same time in Australia you're playing in front of your home crowd, so that could be even more nerve-wracking. Like, how did the vibe of the matches compare, and then the tennis as well?
Pretty different. Like the US Open was, I think almost I was less nervous, although it was my first main draw. It's like court 16, one of the last courts. There's not that many people watching. More people came to watch towards the end, obviously, because it was 2 sets down and I was coming back, and I think people realised, the situation. I think in Australia, just being at home, you really want to win. You want to win in front of the home crowd. I think I put maybe a little bit more pressure on myself to have success, having at least won the US Open match. And then, I guess it was a bit easier though, because I had plenty of crowd support and it was a pretty cool atmosphere out there in Melbourne.
So US Open, down 2 sets, you have a long way back. How do you feel, first of all, physically, and then mentally? What is the strategy mentally to kind of help yourself kind of claw back into a match like that?
I think I knew physically I definitely had it in me. I've put in a lot of hard work. I know I can match it with most guys. So, I was ready to do that physically. It was hot there. I think I knew that over 5 sets you got time. So I knew I wasn't playing my best to start with. I guess panicked a little bit. I was down a break in the third as well. So once I clawed that back, I was like, okay, it's game on now. Maybe he's starting to think about it. I sort of sniffed out that set and went down a break in the fourth as well. And I was like, all right, well, if I can do it once, I'll do it again, see what happens. And yeah, I played really good towards the end of the fourth set. And then you can sort of see, yeah, maybe if I put myself in his shoes, like he was starting to maybe thinking about it. Like, I guess I'm up 2 sets now and I'm playing a wild card, I'm playing this dude, and whatever. But yeah, once I sort of came back and won that fourth set, I was like, all right, like I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. And yeah, for the first time in the match, I was actually leading. I broke serve in the first game of the fifth, and that set felt like it went forever. Finally being ahead and then sort of just trying to serve and stay ahead. And yeah, coming through that match, mentally, I think I got stronger and stronger as I went on, and physically too. And yeah, I think I recovered pretty well and was able to back it up a few days later anyway.
What did you feel like was the hardest part of that match?
I think the toughest part was probably, yeah, I mean, I was so happy to receive a wild card and have the chance to play. Like I wanted to make the most of it. And then I was down 2 sets and a break. And I'm like, all right, it's probably not even going to get to an hour and a half and it's already done. Like they're the sort of thoughts that come through. But I think, yeah, then turning that around and managing to put myself in a winning position, probably the hardest part was, yeah, not to really push away in the fifth. Like I had chances to go up a double break, didn't take them. And then you're sort of like, oh, well, I've gone all this way now. Like imagine if it was, yeah, to not go my way towards the end. But no, overall it was pretty cool though.
Can you explain the wildcard process for the Australian guys? Because you guys always have the Aussie Open in Australia, and I guess you guys trade with some of the other slams. How did you get selected for that wildcard?
Yeah, so we have obviously a few at the Aussie Open. I think we trade on with the French Federation, so they'll have one into Aussie Open and we have one into French Open. And then we also trade to the US for the US Open, so they'll have one too. Yeah, I think it's a few factors go into it. I think obviously ranking, current form, maybe age as well, in terms of how they select the wildcard. Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky. I think at the time I was ranked maybe 190 or 180. And it just happened to be that we had like 10 guys inside the 100, so everyone was in main draw. And I think by ranking, maybe I wasn't the next in, or maybe I was the one after. But I think, yeah, in comparison, maybe with my age and recent results, that maybe put me through. And yeah, there's a big selection panel that decided, and yeah, I think, yeah, obviously it was the one they chose. And yeah, I'm happy I could actually, yeah, not just make up the numbers. I'm glad I did an all right job.
Yeah, you get a win there, it helps for sure. So people we've had on the podcast say that the US Open is a very hectic event. Like especially on the outer courts, they say there's a lot of people. It feels quite rowdy, but there's also an argument for Australia having one of the more rowdy crowds as well. Which slam has the more, I guess, rowdy fans? Who's the most fun to play in front of?
Paul, I think it's very dependent on the day that you're playing, the time that you're playing. Like if you're playing on the middle Saturday in Australia, like for juniors a couple of times we do that. It's Heineken weekend, so everyone's on the beers all day. And it's pretty hot there, so like if you're playing early afternoon or that sort of time, it gets pretty out of control. I think Australia is pretty ruckus, and especially being an Aussie, like they just love getting around Aussies. So I think that's probably maybe where it takes a win. But the US is hectic. Like there's just so many people. Everyone loves the tennis. They all get around everyone, and yeah, just super different. I mean, it was pretty random. I think one of the toilets wasn't working for like either the players when they were coming off like set breaks and stuff. So me and Taro went into like just the public restroom, like where all the spectators were, like after maybe the first or second set. So yeah, pretty hectic.
In New York?
Yeah, New York. So
Imagine how shocked you are as a spectator here. They're taking a piss and then 2 players just walk in mid-match.
yeah, I'm there like, changing my kit and having a slash and then straight back on the court. So pretty fun.
You had to wait for anybody when you went in the public bathroom, or?
No, I think I just went to a urinal and I just was like super quick, but I don't know. It's just super random that we just ended up in there, but whatever. Yeah.
So you know you're wrong, right? You've been sitting there for 10 minutes watching this video. I haven't liked it. I haven't subscribed to the channel. No comments. Show the boys some love, myself being stingy. So I guess maybe the biggest match of your life would have been the second round match, Australian Open. You've taken on Yannik Sinner there on Rod Laver Arena. Just what was that experience like for you?
It's pretty hectic. It's something you can't really prepare for. I don't know. Obviously, I've had plenty of people ask what it was like, and I mean, strip it all back. Like, you play your whole life, and you get to this point now, and you're playing the world number one on Rod Laver Arena. I mean, I've watched so many matches on that court on TV as a kid, like live as a spectator, like when I was a bit younger, and sort of then swapping places and actually being down there playing the match was something real different, and definitely something I won't ever forget. But it's a pretty cool experience.
I feel like normally in that scenario, the person who is not experienced there would pull up there and maybe take a set and a half to kind of get it going. But you took the first set there. Kind of, what were you feeling in that first set when you were playing it?
I think, for me, it was even just started like the whole day. Like, I mean, didn't really think about it too much. Obviously, I saw the draw, and after I won my first round, suddenly, the whole media want to have attention, and then they're asking a million questions about the next match and all that stuff. I think just the whole lead up, like it's hard to describe. Like Nishesh probably has a similar story with his match with Djokovic, first round, and it's pretty surreal. Like, you sort of wait all day to play. Obviously, it's prime time. It's going to be a pretty full stadium, being an Aussie, and they stop like all the people walking down near the change rooms, kind of like to let the two players who are playing on Rod Laver walk through. It's just lobby music. It's you and your opponent. I think if I was there with like Federer or Djokovic on Nadal, I probably would have passed out. But you're just there for a while, and then eventually you walk down. I'm obviously walking behind him, and it's the Walk of Champions, so all the last winners are on the board, and his photo's at the end. So I walk past his photo, then I walk past him, and then I walk on the court. So I was already like, it's pretty hectic stuff. And I think eventually, you go through the warm-up. Obviously, you're nervous and I mean, I was just trying to really enjoy the moment itself, like, and have a crack and just throw everything I had at him. And obviously, once you get, I think that first holder serve's massive. Like, I mean, I doubled on the first point, and I was like, please, just not like this. Like,
not like this.
Not like
No.
Yeah, just not like this, And, I think the next point, like, I hit some like jaggy backhand winner. Like, it's like, usually I'll hit like 2 backhand winners a match. So, all right, like maybe we're on here. And I think I held serve, and I just kept sort of making it, step by step. Like, I was getting a few chances on return. I'd hold again. I was lucky that I served very well for most of the match, but for the whole first set, like, I felt like I was really, sort of troubling him and playing a brand of tennis where I knew that if I stood at the baseline and tried to rally a bit and get a bit of rhythm, I was going to get like rolled. So I just tried to play, a brand of tennis which I knew I can, and I executed pretty well for a part of the match. And I was, it was pretty nuts. Winning the first and sitting down and at least going like, all right, sweet, I'm strapping in for at least 4 with this guy. So
he's got me for at least 3 more sets.
You couldn't win in straight? You think you had it in you?
I mean, you never know. Like, I mean, it's funny I watched highlights of Dennis Isterman when he beat Djokovic on center court, second round, like that morning. So I was like, there's obviously a chance. I didn't have the goggles on though. Like, maybe if I chucked those on, it would have been all right. But yeah.
It's funny. Like, are you adjusted to playing like late on in the day? Because like in futures, you don't really play late on. When you start to go to the challenges, some challenges start to play like first matches in the evening and stuff. But like, they don't wait around for the crowd and like night matches and stuff in futures. So like, it's such a different day when you play first on at 6 p.m. for me at least. So are you used to that, or how was it?
And what did you do that day, bro? Like, how do you manage knowing the biggest match of your life and you have to wait 10 hours from the time you wake up? Like, how do you manage that whole day?
Yeah, I mean, to go back to what you said, Jody, like, it's in the futures, barely ever playing at that time unless it's a doubles like late in the day. Challenges, I feel like I'm starting to play a few more night matches. In Mexico, they had a few late ones. Played Acapulco Challenger last year and played starting at 4 o'clock. I played one in Spain a couple of years ago starting at like 5:30. So you do end up playing a bit. It's a conversation I ended up having with my coach before the preseason. I was like, look, I feel like I'm playing a lot of matches either under lights or later in the day. Why am I never practicing at that time? Like, I want to be almost adjusted to it, or feel like I've done it at least many times before. So yeah, it's obviously hard to prepare for. And I guess the difference is, like, I mean, I'm sure that Yannik knows he's playing at 7 o'clock every second day if he keeps winning on centre court. So he knows what it's going to be like every time. I mean, I tried to request to play during the day, so it was hotter, and so I had a bit more on my serve. But obviously, TV rights and the tournament decides. So I figured it was paying $1 that I'd be playing at 7 o'clock. So
You're saying your serve doesn't get priority over the TV rights?
I wish.
or Sinner's wishes. Like,
can you explain that really quick before we go on? Can you explain what you mean by playing in the heat for your serve rather than at night?
I just feel like, for me, yeah, the temperature and how it is in Australia during the day, like, the court's going to play a bit faster. It's going to be hotter. Yeah, physically I knew I could do it, so I was backing myself in to last however long it needed to go, and at least then have a chance to maybe get a few more free points on serve. My ball in the rally was maybe going to be a little bit more, bigger, a bit heavier, so maybe that could trouble him a bit more. But yeah, obviously we ended up playing in the evening, and as the match went on, it just got a little bit slower, a little bit cooler. But yeah, Justin, for the day, like, I won my first round on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and then I played doubles maybe the next day or the day after. So at least, like, that could kind of keep my mind off it for most of that day. But yeah, obviously I was answering plenty of media questions about my next match, and plenty of mates and people back home always like, oh, good luck for your next one. Of course, like, I was still just trying to enjoy winning my first Australian Open match and getting through the first round, but everyone was, talking about the next one, which is no surprise. But yeah, that day I remember, waking up, like, I slept all right, which is great. I mean, I'm glad I didn't have like a shit sleep. And then I was there with my mum, having breakfast. And then that's sort of when I started thinking about it. It's kind of like I was telling my coach, like, from 10 until like 2, just like, all right, like, could lose ... Like, could make an absolute shame of myself, could play the best match of my life and maybe win. Like,
not like this.
like tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and it's like I would have played the world number 1 in Rod Laver Arena and probably in front of a full crowd. That's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I guess the nerves were flowing for sure for the morning, but then later in the afternoon I kind of sort of eased a bit, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I guess the situation sort of took control a bit, and I was like, all right, sweet. And luckily the matches before me finished quick enough so I could warm up on the centre court at like 4:30 or 5. And then, I guess that period of time from then until the match, I was like, all right, like, this is it. So get excited and, go out there and have fun. And, I gave it my fair crack.
So a lot of times when it's like there's like a big event for us, we might like build it up in our head to be so big. How did the actual experience of playing center feel compared to what you were thinking it was going to be like?
Look, I think I knew that he was going to be obviously insane. The quality of his ball was, really good. Like, I expected he was going to be very good off the ground, give me no real time to sort of play. I feel like almost like not. Yeah, it was just, I felt like it was going to be one of those matches where if I executed and if I played like an aggressive brand of tennis, I could really challenge him and take it to him. But if I just go in my shell and I try and rally and do those things and play like how maybe I should, then look, I knew it was just going to be hell for me. And he just got better and better, I think, as the match went on. I feel like obviously it slowed down a little bit, the temperature and the court. Like, he knows that court obviously better than me. Like, he's barely lost. I don't know if he's ever lost on that court. And I think just his quality over time just got better and better. He served better than I thought. His first serve was tough to read, like hit his spots well, and then if you're not on top of the rally, then yeah, see you later. Like, he's controlling you and just pushing you around how he wants. And I think his defensive skills sort of out of the corners was the most impressive. I think if I didn't hit a serve on the line, or if I didn't hit a ball into the corners with, heaviness, like pushing him back, like he was able to turn defense into offense pretty quickly and just keep such good depth on me. And if I dropped it short, he just took care of it. So it's pretty impressive.
Is there any scenario or anywhere that's safe on the court when you play center, or do you always feel under pressure? Like,
the only real times where I felt like I could feel safe or feel like I was in control was when I was landing first serves and hitting good targets and looking to come forwards. Anytime I was in a 50-50 rally, like from the back, I just felt like I was pushing that sort of red line stage of like, I've got to go for it, otherwise I'm going to lose a 20-ball rally and then step up to the line again and try and do it again. So, yeah, I think whenever I was in control of points, using my serve or getting forwards, I felt like that was my only real chance. Obviously, he's going to pass me. He's going to be able to do that. He moves so well and he is great from the baseline. But any chance I had with that, I felt like I had some sort of a chance.
Was it so uncomfortable because he hits the ball so hard, or was it because he's hitting the ball so hard and it seems like it's safe for him? Like, what is that?
The worst shit ever is when you're playing someone and he doesn't look like he's about to miss anytime soon. Like, the man is just chilling the whole time. Good posture, good, just low, just clean. It's like, oh my God, where's the mistake
Combined with
gonna come
like
from?
the biggest ball on tour, that's got to be not the most fun thing to see on the other side.
It's like, where do I put the ball here where it's going to give me what I want, you know?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you watch him play and it just looks like almost a video game. He's kind of cruising, he rallies a bit, and then he's like, all right, I want to finish the rally now, or I want to inject some pace, so he does. And yeah, I've seen enough of him to know that, that's how it goes if you're going to rally. And I guess I just wanted to make it almost feel like he had less rhythm. And I was even thinking that on my serve, like on the second serves, I was happy to hit a few double faults and go for my second serve versus just kind of consistently make kickers. Like, he's just going to put a return on the baseline and be in control and get another couple reps. So I thought, I'll go for that and try and make it uncomfortable.
Yo, talk about the second serve. I noticed these days it seems more like guys have unreal backhand returns, especially off the second serve kick. Are you making a conscious effort to like slice more second serves to mix it in so that he's hitting more forehands a little bit off balance?
I think in general, like, guys are just getting better and better now, and they're physically better, they're stronger up high. Returning, like, if you're not hitting a very good quality kick serve, or you're not hitting a slider or giving them some variety, then like, guys are too good now to just take care of it. And like, you're going to have to use different variation. Like, I was mixing in sliders, kickers, I was serve volume occasionally. I was just trying to give him different looks all the time, because a returner like that, if you don't do that, you're just going to get pummeled. So.
And do you feel like you have to do that more against him, or is that what you already do anyway, just on your normal day-to-day? I mean, obviously you were a little bit more aggressive, as you said, you gave a few more double faults, but do you still mix it? Did you feel like you mixed it up more against him, or was it about the same?
I think I did it probably a bit more. I mean, I spoke about it with my coach before the match that, if I'm going to just do what I normally do, it's probably not going to work too well, and I've got to be able to take some risk and be happy with making a few errors, because, it's pretty plain and simple. If I don't do it, then he'll be in control and he's going to be able to hit, consistent depth, like on returns, and take care of my second serve, 99 times out of 100, being the player he is. So, I just thought to use a bit more variety, have a chance with getting some more success, and I did for a little bit. So
it seemed like the way you competed, and obviously coming to the net a lot, serving volleying, and I guess taking the match to him, you kind of gained his respect a bit. At the end, he gave you some words and he kind of clapped you off the court. What did he say to you?
He say, like, you're playing well, man, and good luck for the rest of the year. And I mean, I there's a million ways that match could have started and finished, like, and I'm just glad that I really took it to him and went for it and didn't just play within myself. And it's a pretty good sign, like, that the way I'm playing and so the game style I brought was competitive against the number one in the world. And I'm sure he was a little bit frustrated and worried for a little part of that match. And I remember watching back some stuff, and he was pretty edgy for about a set and a bit, and obviously over time, like, he got better, and yeah, it was too good in the end, but it was definitely good for, I guess, the mental side of things too.
And then after I guess my question is about the slams just in general, because you also played the US Open where you lost second round to Mensik, right? And obviously a very close match, 7-6 in the fifth. But is it hard now going from, I would say like peaking emotionally to playing in the slams, winning matches at the slams, and then going the next week back to the other events like ATPs or challenges and stuff? Do you find it hard emotionally to go back down to those tournaments after such a, like, I guess, an emotional week or a big week for you?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things that you have to sort of experience to then adjust to. US Open was wild. Like, it was, obviously the biggest occasion for me in my tennis, and the whole sort of experience was pretty nuts. Like, being down 2-0, then coming back, winning my first slam main draw match, being on a massive high, then being up 2-0 and losing in 5 to make a third round, having match points. That's obviously, like, for me, it took a while to even process that match, like, take that all in. I went back to Australia after that. And then my next tournament was Columbus Challenger, and it was only like a couple weeks later. So I was flying across the world and flying straight back. And yeah, it was hard for sure. That was an experience where I had a terrible time. I played one of the worst matches of the year, and I just wasn't in a mental position to play a tournament, let alone like being a high seeded challenger, playing a qualifier. And I just was anywhere but the match for that week, for that occasion. But it was something I'd never experienced. And then, this time around it was a bit different. I played Australian Open. I had by far the biggest experience. I mean, after the US, I basically went home. I took a couple of days and started training again and flew back on a plane a couple of weeks later and played a tournament, versus this time I played and then had a few days off to get away from tennis. I didn't check a score, didn't check anything. And then my next tournament was the Challenger in Brisbane, which was, again, probably an easier transition being in the same country. But yeah, it's crazy. I had 15, 20,000 people in the stands playing the world number one. Then I went to Brisbane Challenger. There was probably 6 people watching, and we didn't have ball kids for the first few days. So super different, of course. But this time around, my biggest goal was to just treat it as if it was centre court against world number one and try my hardest to have a great attitude. And it kind of paid off. Like, I had a great week, and the first match was not easy, and I played much better and I was in a much better spot. But not having the experience from before, I don't think I would have been able to do it this time around.
Yo, I don't know you at all, but you strike me as a more, like, let's say, evenly tempered, like a bit more of a calm, under the radar kind of guy. Did life change at all after the spotlight there in Australian Open when you played Sinner, or did things go back to normal pretty quick?
Not really. I mean, my phone was going nuts, like, for a while. Like, obviously it was by far the biggest stage I've played on, and the most interest maybe people have shown in my tennis, just hence the situation and playing in my home country. And it's a little bit different, of course. Like, I was staying in Airbnb, like, not too far, and a few people noticed me the next day, like, just walking around, just because obviously I was on TV and whatnot. But then that evening, like, I was having dinner at like a pub down the road, and like seeing on the TV the live stream of centre court and being like, like 24 hours ago, like, that would have been me there. And a couple of people like realised, and I don't know, you have that probably initial period of time where people are talking about you, and you're on news articles, you're on the news, or you're on different media things. And I guess, initially it was like that, but I mean, I don't really think I want that so much. Like, you don't kind of, after that, all I wanted to do was just get away and, like, be able to sort of think and do my own thing as well. And I'm glad I actually took a few days off after the tournament to rest and get over it and kind of fizzle out a little bit. But a few more people rocked up to the next round of doubles that Adam and I played, like on the next day, we played on a pretty big court. So I guess people, knew a bit more, hence my previous matches.
Bro, what do you think of the double stuff going on? Like all the back and forth that everyone about doubles.
I mean, I've heard every side of it, I feel like, from so many different people. And it was funny, I was playing challenges in India just before, and I got an interview after one of my matches. Like, I think I won my second round or first round singles match, and I got asked for like 15, 20 minutes about the US Open mixed doubles.
Okay.
And to be honest, I just knew it was a different format. I knew there was like 8 wild cards or 8 people in. I didn't know the scoring. I didn't know, like, because it didn't really phase me, because I knew I'm probably not going to play that tournament. But it's just interesting how, I mean, a country where they're pretty heavily, involved in their doubles, and they have pretty good doubles players, but not as many singles players, like that was their point of focus. But yeah, what Opelka said and what other people are saying, like, in some sense, I get it. It's always going to be a question mark. I know for a while that they've had, I guess, issues with doubles players, or they've had issues with singles players playing doubles, and I don't know, it's just a constant question mark. I heard conversations maybe 2 years ago where they were talking about how maybe doubles is not going to be around in a few years, or they're trying to change this, trying to get more people watching. But I've seen also the flip side. I've seen some massive crowds at doubles matches. I think it was in Rio or one of the South American, I think 2 Brazilian guys won, or
Yeah, recently, right? Like a month ago.
Like the crowd looked hectic. That was sick.
The crowd looked good today too, or yesterday in Indian Wells with Segaman and Tarak. Crowd looks
Yeah,
insane.
like even for those guys, I mean, like one of the sort of cooler atmospheres or places where I've maybe enjoyed watching tennis was Australian Open, when Kyrgios Kokonakis beat the number 1 seeds on Kia Arena, like 3rd round or something. Like, it was a zoo. And
But to be fair, I think that goes to Riley Opelka's point. It's like, I think that he believes, not to put words in his mouth, but I think that he believes that what he doesn't like is players who don't make it in singles, play doubles, and then the product is not as good, versus if a good singles player would play doubles. Like, he's saying like Kokonakis and Kyrgios probably should play doubles, and the crowd would come out and watch them play because they're good singles players as well. Like, they're just good tennis players. I believe that's his point. So that goes towards his point. But then on the flip side, I believe that my personal opinion is that it's a marketing thing, and depending on the storylines and that sort of stuff, like Segman and Terhak are not top 100 doubles players, but the crowd are packed to go watch them play.
They did play Rublev and Kachanov too, though.
yeah,
That is true. I forgot that part of it, didn't I? You see that? This is why you can't listen to people on the internet, bro.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously so much talk about it. I saw, like, I think I was in India, so obviously I saw things of like Bopana made comment on how many people he's been able to, give a chance to play tennis, or things like that. I mean, I saw what Vavasori said. Like, obviously you see these things, and you take both sides. You can understand and emulate with both of them. Like, it's, I guess, very personal opinions, and everyone's got reasons why. But I think, there's great atmospheres in singles and doubles. There's also terrible atmospheres in singles and doubles. Like, it's just kind of dependent a bit on the situation too, and where you're playing, who you're playing in front of, and all those things.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Bro, we spoke about you being in India. Being an Aussie, like, especially as you get higher in the ranking, you have to play kind of the tour schedule. You kind of have to put in some crazy shifts in terms of, like, being on the road. Like, you guys have to, because you guys are so far from everything, you have to travel, I guess, like right now, how long have you been on the road?
Right now, this is going to be my 7th tournament in a row.
Yeah, like, rough. Like, that can get rough at times. Like, I know you obviously played the Australia swing. You went to India, and I guess you went pretty deep in the last one there and played semis, and then you went to play Indian Wells like 2-3 days later, and now you're in Punta Cana, and then and now you're gonna go to Miami after this. Like, how do you enjoy that? Like, just packing the bag and knowing I'm not gonna be home for 2-3 months?
Oh, yeah, not really. Like, it's not ideal for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
like, it's just, yeah. If I didn't love what I do, I wouldn't do it. Like, it's, yeah. Last year I played 30-something events. Obviously, that's 30-something different places, hotels, flights, you name it. And obviously, coming from Australia, it's not easy for me to just be like, oh, I lost in Cap Cana today. I'm going to go home. I live in Florida. Like, if I pulled up my phone and checked Skyscanner for the quickest way home, yeah, that's 30 plus hours at least. And
Bro,
yeah,
Australia is so far, bro.
it's not cheap.
Like, I complain when I go to Europe, much less Australia. Oh my word.
Yeah, like it's yeah, it's definitely got its days. Like you said before, I mean, I played Sinner and I had a Great Australian Open. I had a few days off. Then I played in Brisbane for 2 weeks. I was lucky to stay. Like I trained there and live in an apartment there. So for me, that was fantastic. But like home and where I'm from is Perth, which is the other side of the country. That's where my family is, and that's a 5-hour flight from Brisbane. And I haven't been back to Perth since last January. Like
You've
obviously
been home in a year?
over a year now. So I mean, it's March, and I was there last January.
Jeez.
But that's just kind of how it rolls around. Like for me to go there, it's going to be 2 flights, and it's going to be a bit of time. Like when I'm home, I train in Brisbane. So I went from there to India, which is, it seems close, but still I flew to Singapore and then Singapore to New Delhi. Like you can get direct flights to India from either Sydney or Melbourne, but from Brisbane, you got to go somewhere else. And it's not a short trip, and it's not like it's an exciting trip rolling up to India, but it was pretty tough there. And like I got sick on the Monday. I played against the first week against Andre Illigan on the Friday, and I started feeling pretty unwell on the court, and had to go off after the second set and had diarrhea. I ended up coming off and feeling great
Not
afterwards.
like this, man. Just not like this.
Dre, Dre lost to you when you couldn't even hold it together on the court. Crazy, Dre.
I got it all out, and then I started playing great in the third set. So
Okay.
yeah, look, like it's
Lucky
not
you.
it's not perfect conditions there, but yeah, the turnaround again. Like you're talking about travel, I played Friday night. I lost there in the quarters in Bengaluru the last week. 7-5 in the third. I then checked like flights to get to Indian Wells. Bengaluru to Palm Springs, if you search that up in Skyscanner, is not pretty. Bengaluru to Los Angeles is a little bit better, but obviously then you got to drive or get to, that's not a short trip either. And there were flights leaving at 11 p.m., but sure enough, I came off the court and I had to do a doping test, so that was brilliant.
Wonderful.
Come on.
And if it's humid, you can't pee right away. You got at least an hour.
And like at that point, like I was keeping it in pretty well, but I did get a bit heated after that. I was like, look, there's one guy you probably don't need to test here. You can test me any day, but like on the day I'm trying to get to the airport and trying to travel to the other side of the world, probably don't do it.
Doug, having to piss somebody watching you is very tough. Having to piss somebody watching you with a deadline, you have to leave.
Yeah, not easy. Not
That's
easy.
crazy.
Yeah, like I eventually got that done, but with the traffic and everything there, it was going to take like 2 hours to get to the airport, so I couldn't make those flights. And obviously, you guys know how it is last minute if you're trying to book a ticket around the world. It's not cheap. And yeah, I then had a chance to make one at 3 a.m. Via Doha, which was going to cost like $2,000 US one way.
Aussie Open check gone.
Boom, disappeared. Boom, vanish.
Yeah, that sold out when I was booking it. And then my only other option was with Emirates via Dubai, leaving at 4:30 a.m., getting me in Saturday evening to Indian Wells, and that cost me $2.5 US one way. So that was
Just you
nice.
or the coach too?
Just me. My coach was meeting me in Indian Wells.
Okay.
So yeah, copped that one on the chin. Went to the airport. Traveled in row 66B and 87H because that was the last seat on the plane. So yeah, I was
my boy sitting in the toilet, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I walked in the plane and turned right and kept walking for a long time, and a few of those guys from the Dubai 500 were turning left and enjoying their horizontal 16-hour trip. But yeah, I made it to LA after 20-something hours or whatever it was total, and then but I think door to door when I arrived in Indian Wells at the hotel, it was like 30 hours ish. Obviously, time zone wise, I got no idea what day it was or what time it was. I had a light hit on Sunday, which probably wasn't even worth it. I felt pretty average. Like I was, with the time difference, I was good at like 5 a.m. until about 10, 11 a.m. And then I was pretty tired. The same went the next day. Like I woke up at 5, woke up during the night. I was scheduled second on after 10.
Tennis is so rough.
Oh, that's rough, bro.
Scheduled, second on after 10. And also, like, Bengaluru was altitude, different ball. Indian Wells, no altitude, different ball. And,
So, okay. Here's my question. What's the learning experience from this? Like, what's the adjustment that you make next year if you're in that position? Would you do the same thing?
Oh, yeah. I had this conversation with a psychologist I work with, and I knew it was always going to be tough if I made Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Bengaluru. But it was a chance I was happy to take because I was a high seed at a 125 where conditions were pretty good for my game. And if I would have won a couple more matches, I probably would speak a little bit different about it. But look, this time, next time around, hopefully I'm at a ranking where I have a little bit more choice in terms of like, I probably don't need to play that tournament. And I'll give myself time to prepare and peak for that Masters 1000 qualies. But, look, I don't know if I could have changed anything. I got there as soon as I could. And, there's just no denying that the turnaround's just about impossible. Like, I mean, maybe if I'm flying business and sleeping well, then it's a bit different. I feel a bit better. The day of practice, I hit for an hour and did a bit of stuff in the gym, and like the body was starting to feel okay, not flash, but okay. And then the next day was not easy. And like I said, I woke up at 5. I was pretty cooked by the time it got to like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And super happy that the first match went for 3 hours and I started at 1 o'clock. So I just tried my best to compete as hard as I could. And I mean, how I was playing was pretty scrappy, and I was focused so hard for like the first set on my footwork and just trying to be in position, but then that sort of took me away from focusing on actually like digging in and the playing the points and playing certain points a certain way because of focus. And I felt like I was focusing completely on that, and it wasn't easy. Like I was up 3-love in the first, lost the first 6-4. Don't even know how that happened. I was up 5-love in the second. Somehow it was 5-all, and I was like, I don't even know how it's 5-all. What's going on? I don't know how I got to 5-love. Somehow won the second set, saved a match point, and then lost in 3, and it was pretty wild. Like I came off the court straight to the toilet, and obviously time zones and everything. Shitting schedule was all over the shop as well. So it was whack. I had a day off the next day, did a bit of gym, and then only like a day or two later I felt all right, and then the next day I was on a plane to Punta Cana overnight, so that was good.
I'm stringing up my racket using my Pro Stringer. I've had this machine for 4 or 5 years now. The Pro Stringer is a portable stringing machine. It's very durable. It's accurate. I never have any issues with the tension being incorrect and stuff. It's easy for me to know what to expect from the racket. And we at the Changeover actually have a partnership with Pro Stringer. So if you'd like to go and purchase one, you can go to the website and you get to save $100 off a brand new Pro Stringer when you use our discount code CHANGEOVER in the checkout. So if you're interested in a portable stringing device, I highly recommend this machine. Saves a lot of money in stringing fees. And like I said, I take it everywhere I go and string all of my rackets on this machine. So you recover now? You have your routine back? Your meals and everything back?
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, I feel when I got here to the Dominican, it was, pretty good. Like obviously similar-ish time zone, but not easy.
Bro, what I want to know is logistically. So you leave home to go to India, but you know you're probably going to go to India and Wales, Miami, all this stuff after. So you're looking at 2 months of being on the road. how do you pack your bag, bro? Like
Bro, I was thinking the same thing.
how many
Imagine
pairs
how
of
many
shoes,
reels of string and pairs of shoes is what
strings,
I'm thinking.
and then vitamins and stuff? Or can you get people to send you stuff easily when you're on the road? Like how does all that work?
Um, it's it's been like a work in progress. I think over time, playing, because I mean initially you think you need everything under the sun, and you're going to end up with like 60 kilos of baggage. But no, I think I've worked it now to a point where, yeah, I mean, I travel with a big suitcase with obviously all my tennis clothes and electrolytes, string, grips, tennis bag, all my rackets and everything, and like one carry-on, which is fine. But like, it's been really lucky that I can get sent stuff from Lotto in terms of like new match kit or shoes and stuff. Most of the time to tournaments, like in the States, it's easier. So, like, I think I can't even remember. I think I left home and I had maybe 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, obviously a few reels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy to plan for, because also, I mean, for example, I'll restring 3 rackets for a match, and every time I break a string or if I change strings, like I'll put a new grip on. So, like, if I'm playing a lot of matches, I'm going to go through it faster than I would if I'm not playing a lot of matches. And you can't just predict, I'm going to make semis and play 4 matches, I'm going to lose first round. Like, you can't, sort of decipher that. And sometimes, of course, like, yes, I'm lucky enough that I have, like a clothing sponsor and rackets as well. So getting access to things is a bit easier, which is massive and makes it a lot more comfortable being able to do that. But so, yeah, for instance, sometimes you just simply can't get the product when you need it. And I went into the Tennis Warehouse store at Indian Wells and bought some string because I needed it for the Dominican. But that's just, kind of how it rolls around. And you, expect that being on the road for so long.
Bro, you know what I experienced for the first time? I was on my way to this trip. What was I flying from? Philly to somewhere in Portugal. I can't remember where my flight was, but on British Airways, to London. Philly to London on British Airways. And I had 4 rackets in my hand. And they said, I can't let you on the plane with 4 rackets. And I said, what do you mean you can't let me on the plane? She said, I cannot let you. You have to put them, you have to have 2 in a bag, in like a tennis sleeve bag, but you can't have 3. And I didn't have a tennis sleeve bag anyway. So she made me wrap my 4 rackets.
She's a racket
in
police.
two big garbage bags, and then they check that in, like if that's going to be safer than my tennis bag. I said, miss, if I knew this, I would just left the rackets in the tennis bag. I don't want to check them in anyway, but I can guarantee you they're more safe than these 2 garbage bags that you're giving me. And then there was another person that had 3 tennis rackets, all of them in the tennis sleeve. She made the man open the sleeve, look inside, saw 3 rackets.
What airline is this?
British Airways, bro. And then I Googled it, and it was a rule. Like, it was a actual thing. But it's like, that sucks because, like, you don't, like, it's risky to check your tennis bag in. Who knows if it gets lost and, like, or break your rackets? Like, I check my red tennis bag in, it comes back black. Like, it's like they scrape it on the tarmac, like, outside the plane or something. I don't know.
Jeez. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I've never taken a racket on board in my life. I just,
check it.
I check it in every time. If they don't come, they don't come. Like,
I mean, he's traveling 60 hours to each trip. He doesn't want to have to walk around with his tennis bag, backpack.
Well, he's not walking for 30 hours. They're above him in the plane.
Nah, but you have to like get it and walk, stand in lines, and go through customs. Bro,
Wait, how many rackets you travel with, Tristan?
Usually 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little bit crazy if it's like more than 4 rackets. It becomes hard to carry.
Yeah, I mean, any more than that, it becomes pretty tough to travel with. And yeah, I think 5 or 6 is enough.
Yeah, 4 pairs of shoes.
Like,
the bag's heavy,
one
bro.
time
The bag's
I
heavy.
was going to Tunisia and they lost my suitcase for 5 days. So imagine me being at a tournament without my tennis bag for 5 days.
It's crazy.
It's cooked. It's chalk it. Chalk the tournament. I fly to Africa and they don't even have my rackets. Chalk it. Send me home.
Bro, so on this podcast, we normally do like a little segment called Over Under. I'm going to give you a topic and you tell me if it's over or underrated. And we just kind of discuss. So I was watching, trying to do for this episode some prep. I saw your coach talking to some people at Australian Open about about data and the AI data they had for the matches at the Australian Open. So using data and stats for tactical purposes is underrated, you feel?
I think that's underrated.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably something I never did too much of. Probably a few years ago in my career, and yeah, although it might not seem, yeah, I guess sometimes it's probably similar to studying. Like you can study for hours and hours, and you can come up with a million different things on certain topics, but there might only be one or two things that come out of it which you need to know in an exam or in, for example, a tennis match. And yeah, I think in the last couple of years, I've sort of looked into it a bit more, and personally, I'll do some, and my coach will do something similar. And yeah, in the last year, I've had a real, not an interest, but like I guess taken pride in actually, yeah, researching a bit, watching a little bit of everyone I play, and keeping note of what I think, some pre-match thoughts, and yeah, serve, where they're serving, forehand, backhand, certain tendencies. And then also after the match, sort of going through it and being like, oh, yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree with this. Actually, today he used his slice more, or certain things like that. And I think it's, yeah, it might only be a couple things, and that could be a couple points. And as I've come to realize, the higher you go up, you get less chances, and 1 or 2 points can be, yeah, the match. So
Do you find that guys tend to play to their tendencies like pretty? Are the stats pretty accurate in terms of that? Like, do guys tend to fall back into what the stats show in big moments, or is that
But it's not
kind of
hard
hit and
because
miss?
like it depends on who they're playing, no? So do you try to find a player that's similar to your game style, or do you just look at the match from that player at that tournament? Because like I feel like there's so many variables. Like how he's
yeah,
serving on clay is not how he's serving on hard court, or how he's playing a lefty
yeah,
with a bad backhand is not how he's playing someone with like, you know?
of course, yeah. And like I said, you can look into hours and hours and hours of it. But yeah, I think you can look at stats, and there's easy ways to kind of, yeah, trim it down and use some filters in terms of hard court matches, clay court, grass court, right-handers, left-handers, break points, all those things. And it's a pretty interesting and fascinating thing. But yeah, then again, you could do all that stuff and they could come out and play like sneakily different. But I feel like for the most part, most guys have, yeah, a pretty clear idea of how they want to play matches and how they go about their business. So yeah, more often than not, it seems to be pretty good. And sometimes I'll just be, yeah, I guess wrong. And obviously you can adapt to that. It's not like, okay, I'm playing Justin tomorrow, and when it's 30 all, he likes to serve T 80% of the time, and he's just aced me wide 3 times. I'll just be like, all right, man, it's fine. Like, it's just how it is today. Like,
Just keep covering the T.
then like it's just like
The T will
roulette.
come.
Like
It'll come on the fourth time.
it's just the way you look at it. Like you think it's been black 7 times in a row, it's gonna be black again. Like maybe it's gonna be red, or you're thinking it the other way. So I don't know. It's
We're talking about
yeah,
gambling?
sometimes
What are we
it's
talking
And do
about
you
here now?
and do you use it on yourself?
on
Like
myself. Like
yeah, like do you look at your patterns and your tendencies? Like it's the same
yeah,
logic for them and for you, no? So like
yeah. I
do you
think
use it as a way to try and keep yourself unpredictable?
yeah. I mean a little bit. Obviously, everyone knows. Like I guess in themselves, like what they like to do, how they like to play points, and what their strengths are, weaknesses. But I think you can also play into a bit of a part. Like I might think, well, when I get a forehand in the middle of the court and I hit it this way, I'm having good success. But then when I look at the numbers, I'm actually not. And that's maybe me remembering 1 or 2 points in the match, but I forget about 6 or 7, which were not as good. And yeah, again, it's just about how much you look at it. I mean, you can get too caught up in it, I think. But yeah, I think overall it's definitely underrated.
Next one for you. Is it over or underrated how bad the balls are on tour right now?
Uh, like if I say it's overrated, like I think the balls are fine, or
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's overrated a bit. Like the balls are fine. Like I think
Okay.
generally, like I mean, everyone's using the same ball, so well, it's the same for everyone. But I think what's underrated is just how often we're changing. Like in the last 4 weeks, I've used 4 different balls. So, like, it's pretty wild. And it's not like I'm playing. I'd expect that in futures. I've played with horrendous balls in some challenges and places. I've used horrendous balls, but I've gone from, I think Pune was an old Dunlop AO ball. Then Bengaluru was a head ATP. Then a pen ball, and now I'm using a different Dunlop one. So, like, it's a lot, and there's no surprise that people are getting injured and there's people complaining.
Yeah, I agree. I like the balls are a little bit different, but I'm not like freaking out about the quality of the balls. Like when I was in San Diego, and there were people complaining about how slow it was, and people were talking about the balls a little bit, but they're talking more about the courts, which is fine. Like if it's slow, it's just some people prefer slow courts, some people prefer fast courts. That's fine. But then you go from that to here, I'm using Wilson, and I don't know. I think we're using Wilson for the same 2 weeks here, but that's a different ball, you know? And imagine I went from here to another tournament in Europe, or if I went to France indoors after this different ball. So, like, I believe the issue is the ball quality is a little bit different, but I don't think that's the biggest issue. It's just the constant changing of balls that you go. I agree.
Yeah.
And
Not
the
that
last
you
one.
asked.
No, it's all good, brother. And last one, Vegemite.
Vegemite?
Vegemite, yeah.
It's underrated. Yeah.
No,
You
it
like
is
it?
not. No, it is not.
I think you gotta.
That shit is so terrible, dog.
If you're having it by itself, like out of the jar, of course it's not nice. Like
Okay.
but no one has Vegemite like that. So like people get like people to try it, and that's how they'll taste it. But with the
How are
right
you having
ratio,
Vegemite?
Yeah.
What are you doing to it? Putting it in the
With the right-
garbage and saying it's great.
with the right ratio of butter on toast, it's unreal. Like whenever I was sick at home, like mum would have pretty heavily buttered toast with Vegemite, and it was unreal. Sometimes I feel like I crave that as well. Sometimes I'd have it with butter, Vegemite, and eggs. But then also I'd have
Wait. With eggs?
like scrambled eggs or fried eggs. I'd have butter, bit of
They lock
Vegemite,
you
and
up,
that.
dog.
The only person that I know eat Vegemite is my grandfather. That's it. No one else.
What else is good? Sometimes there'd be a cafe in Perth where I was near the beach, and they'd do like toasted sandwiches with cheese, Vegemite, and avocado. Avocado, Vegemite's a good combo. And yeah, I mean, it's not like I have it every day, but it's pretty good. I think it's underrated.
Bro, is the Aussie coffee that good? I don't even drink coffee, but Jody does. But people talk about Australian coffee like it's like a sent from heaven.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. It's yeah. Definitely when I go away for 2 months or however long, like when I get home, I'll have multiple the day of arrival.
So you can't
Yo.
sleep.
Do you guys eat sardines? Have you had sardines before?
Nah, that's foul, mate. I don't know. No.
Bro, the other day I ordered chicken Caesar salad, and like I take the first bite normal. Second bite I'm like, bro, what is in this Caesar salad? Apparently it's a Portuguese thing. Like sardines is like a big thing in Portugal. Like they just throw that in some of the meals. Like, bro, shocking, bro.
Bro,
Disgusting.
this episode has been so strange for me. Just talking to a green blob, dog. I don't even know.
Who knows what he looks like?
I have no clue what he's doing.
I've only seen him on Instagram. You
I
know,
have no clue what the guys do it. But we've
he
reached
could
the
be
part
so
of
bored. He could be so bored on this podcast, like not smiling, just
eyes closed.
terrible
Look at the
energy.
ceiling.
Yeah.
So we reached the main event, at least for me. Best part of the show, in my opinion, the QUIZLET round. We're gonna play trivia. Today is mostly tennis trivia, actually. So I don't think there's any math today.
All right.
Tennis trivia. So we're gonna see your tennis knowledge. I'm gonna read the question out. When you think you know the answer, you just shout the answer out. If you're wrong, Jody can rebut. You guys can both guess one more time. You guys are both wrong twice. Go on to the next question. First to 3 correct answers wins. And question number 1.
I'm on a real heater, by the way.
You should watch the last episode with Spaziri. You should see the math question there. That was crazy.
Oh, I actually messaged him about that. I said, mate, that's horrendous.
Brother, what is that? Yo, 90 divided by 2, like that got him going.
But you know, I'm about to make the clip for it. Now, like, I don't know if I'm built to make a clip
96 divided by
of
2,
myself looking like that, bro.
Yeah, it's tough.
You gotta do it for the views, for the clicks. Question number 1.
Okay, here we go. Come on, lock it.
Who am I? career high ATP number 8, 2 Davis Cup titles, 2 Grand Slam finals where he lost to Pat Rafter and Roger Federer, one-handed backhand from Australia.
Philippoussis. I was first there, surely.
Tristan Schoolkate is up 1-0.
That was a good guess though. Like I
I
wasn't
mean,
late.
if I would have lost that, I would have just blamed Wi-Fi.
But how late was I? Was I close?
He said Phil and you started.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I can blame the Wi-Fi then.
No, you can't. You have better Wi-Fi than him. Apparently, he's green. Question number 2: who is the ATP Serve Tour leader on ATP stats
Petchy
page?
Pericard.
Yes, 2-0.
Oh my god, this guy's locked in.
He's
You
killing
sent
you
him
right
the
now.
questions before the podcast.
I played him in Brisbane in doubles. Me and Adam got in as alternates, so we played him and Jarry. It was absurd.
No, him and Jerry.
It's absurd. Man. Absurd. It was absurd. I think we had they served the match. We went up 6-5 in the second. I was like, oh, we see a few second serves here. We might be a chance. He hit 4 seconds, and we didn't see one return go back in the court. So.
No way. But is it just it's like big or the kick crazy or what?
Oh, it's just
both.
another first serve. So you do what you want with it. You can try. Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3.
Wait, so 2-0 down. Come on.
Yeah, this is it.
Not like
This is
this,
it.
not like this, not like this.
Not like this. I'm gonna give you a true or false. Let me see. The red juice in red meat is blood.
False.
Oh fuck, it's definitely false, is it?
It's false.
It's definitely false.
It's a protein called myoglobin. So yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
brother, you
okay.
just got 6 love right there, quick.
You ever play a tennis match and the match is just so bad there's no need to analyze? We just forget about it and move on.
Yeah, just what they call it, get out of jail free card. Just leave that word.
That's
Never
it.
happened.
Back
Never
to it
happened.
next week. Back to it next week. I'll get the next guest, don't worry.
All right, this was one of the toughest episodes to get started, but thank you for bearing with us there, Tristan. And yeah, it was fun. Good luck over there in the 175 in Dominican, and then hopefully also good luck there in Miami.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Thanks for making it happen.
For sure.
Thank you.
For sure. And yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, subscribe, buy a hoodie. Helps. That helps too. You want to help? Buy something. And yeah, we appreciate the love, man. Thank you.